you guys on your heels a little bit, just in terms of pace and physicality. Did you kind of feel that way too?
Oh yeah, I definitely felt all of that.
Yeah.
I think a couple things coming into the game, that we had talked about that kind of maybe what they do well and what we had struggled with. One is they're an incredibly low turnover team, and obviously we have turned it over. And I thought in the Phoenix game we were better. And then the other part of it was that they've, since the All-Star, break, had been about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 in the league in offensive rebounding. So I think when you look at the volume of shots they got versus us was a huge difference in the game. And to your point, I thought the loose balls, the 50-50s, I didn't feel like we came down with enough of them. When we had a chance maybe to kind of make a run, we got it down to 9, 10. They made a loose ball play, or there was an offensive rebound, or whatever, what have you. That was, I thought, a huge difference in the game. And to your point, I thought they definitely had us back on our heels. I felt that way too.
Like I feel like the rim was also an issue, just like not being able to deter paint penetration or get stops there.
That was, the points in the paint by them, we didn't do a very good job. We ended up, even on some of the coverages, we ended up just having to switch, in the middle of the first half. I didn't feel like our coverages were really good enough. And then, and obviously with Russell, he's explosive coming downhill, but we didn't protect each other on the backside too, where there was no real low man help. We weren't where we needed to be. They're a team that DeMar didn't play, but with Monk and with Russell and some of these guys, they're very, very good in space isolation players, and you can't give them that kind of space, especially when Russell gets ahead of steam. He's coming downhill at our big. We've got to be able to pull in and give a little bit more basket support. But I thought that they dominated the paint game, whether it be offensive rebounds, shots at the rim, loose ball, basketballs that were in the lane. I thought the paint that they dominated the game.
A lot of kind of what you're describing there. A lot of what you're describing there feels like it's more of mental slippage than anything else. Do you feel like there is any kind of like hurdle that this team is having to get over, just in terms of mental focus, kind of that level of tenacity coming into games, just given how many losses have occurred recently?
Yeah, I almost look at it, Julie, the other way. I think, we've won 2 out of 3 games. And I think, coming out of the Phoenix game, definitely I think there's a mental component to that, but I think it was more that, in the Phoenix game, I thought we were the team that came down with loose balls and were able to get some steals and get out in transition and get to the paint and, dominate the transition game. That wasn't the case tonight, and I think that for whatever reason, we don't have the luxury just to not do those things at a really high level, whether it's protecting the paint on defense, whether it's, taking care of the basketball, all those things. We don't have the luxury or the margins to not do those things at a really, really high level. And, again, I always think that, like a barometer, of how alert, ready, focused you are is a lot of that is on loose balls and situations like that. And I thought we really got dominated in those areas where maybe last game we did a better job than Phoenix did in that area, and that's what we're going to have to do.
We were talking to Trey after last game. He was saying that there is kind of still this sort of thought or feeling about like they can make a push to get into the play-in, similar to last year. Just with the momentum that you guys had, you mentioned the 2 out of 3 and a winnable game tonight. Does it feel like there's any like air out of the sails with this one? Like this was a kind of missed opportunity there?
I don't know. Listen, I think we all know with the transition that we had to go through in terms of trying to get everybody on the same page, and then having the injuries that we had to go through, and then dropping the number of games we dropped, we certainly dug ourselves a hole, right? But I think that, Trey's point is you're mathematically still alive, and as long as you're mathematically still alive, we're going to, obviously try to make a push for something like that. I think these guys have worked hard. The chemistry in terms of being a new team has been really, really good. These guys have been really, really professional. I think it's been a lot for them to handle, especially coming into a totally different system, style, terminology, all that kind of stuff that they've had to acclimate to. So, any loss for us is going to be a huge setback. It just is, right? Because we don't have a lot of room, on the margins, So, and even if we were fortunate enough to win the game tonight, you still don't have a lot of room. It would have put you close. But we're going to obviously have to win games and hope some teams lose games too, right? But I think that the mentality in that locker room is that those guys are trying to do everything they can to win.
Billy, you've talked about your respect for Russell many times before, and you did it again tonight. It's clear the respect flows the other way with him coming over to hug you and talk to you for a pretty lengthy time for an in-game situation. I know you're not about yourself, but what do those moments mean to you when those things happen, when those signs of respect happen?
Well, I mean, even when my father passed, he was one of the first people that reached out to me and sent me a text message. And I say this, I think a lot of times with these guys, whether it's DeMar, whether it's Russell, I think people see them in between the lines. And, as a coach or when you're part of a team, you get a chance to see him in a totally different light. Like, he's a great father, great husband, got unbelievable parents, great brother. He's got a really, really incredibly supportive inner circle, inside of his family. I was privileged to be around them for a lot of years. Like I said before the game, I think there's great appreciation I have for him is when you're a coach and you walk into the locker room before, 30 minutes, 35 minutes on the clock, you're never worried about that guy. Like, he's always going to compete and play and give everything he had. And, I really enjoyed my time with him. I appreciated how hard he worked and how competitive he was. And like I said, when you go through, an 82 game schedule, there's a lot of emotions in it, great emotions, poor emotions. I was really, really happy to see him go through an unbelievable MVP type of year, and just the way he played and what he did that year and the way he carried our team was phenomenal. So, I got a chance to know him on a totally different level than just a basketball player. I got a chance to really know him as the person.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Just one more, just an update on Sexton, if you have one.
I think he's got a leg contusion, is the way I understood it. That's all I heard. I haven't checked to see how, if there's anything more to it. But it said, I think, a lower leg contusion, Beth? Left lower leg contusion. That's all I heard.
18 games left for you guys, and I know how important winning is. This game kind of was a gut punch compared to how you played in Phoenix. What do you guys need to focus on? What do you guys need to do as a team in your mind?
I think control the things we can control, It's we lost a lot of 50-50s, offensive rebounds in transition. Those are things you can fix, and making missing shots. It's you're gonna miss shots, and it's whatever, but you have to keep fighting and win the 50-50s. They had every 50-50 ball today, so that's how you lose games. It always comes down to like the minute details of winning, and we didn't do that tonight.
Is that
Myself
disappointing?
included.
Is that disappointing considering how Phoenix seemed to be kind of an uptick for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. I just didn't think we came out and competed today, myself included, obviously. And we got to fix that.
How did you feel physically? Any lingering effects from the ankle or not?
Felt fine, honestly. It was a little stiff, at first, but it kind of opened up moving forward. But yeah, I felt fine.
You were struggling shooting the ball a little bit to start the game, but got to the free throw line a bunch. How does that maybe help keep you in rhythm when you are missing some shots?
Yeah, just seeing one go in is pretty much all it takes. Just when you're out there, you see one go in on the free throw line, and it kind of relieves some stress in the shots that you take. And with my ankle, it felt a little bit stiffer to shoot, and I need to get back to just free flowing out there with no issues. But felt fine, honestly. First game back, but yeah, as I said, getting to the free throw line, it makes it easier. Offensively, going on with the game.
Kind of bigger picture, but we hear from a lot of young players that it can be hard to learn through losses, that losing can maybe kind of create almost like a brain fog of just not being able to figure out how to grow within that. Do you feel that at all? Does it feel difficult to kind of learn through losing scenarios, or just kind of in these positions where the team's not able to kind of come up?
Yeah, definitely. losing is a part of winning, and I try to always take something negative and turn it into a positive. So, we lost today. I'm gonna go watch the game, see what we can do better, see what I can do better, and move forward.
You're always about winning and not individual stats, but you're coming up on 100 block shots for the season. What would that mean to you?
I don't really know. Honestly, I think 100 is obviously cool, but I was trying to get the shoot backs on the truck. I don't really know. I don't know who.
It's like 6th in the league.
Oh, yeah?
The players first.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd say, yeah.
Why don't you think about it, and then when you get 100, you can come back and give me a better answer.
But at the same time, you talked about this year wanting to come in and show that you can be a two-way player, and obviously there's a certain amount of physicality that Billy's talked about they'd still like to see you get when it's just kind of on the ball with the guy. But the rim protection part of it, obviously it can always get better, but you have to kind of feel good that, hey, you at least add that element to this team.
Yeah, I try to. I'm really good at timing the blocks and knowing when guys will try to finish when they're going up, and it's something that I feel like I had since I started playing basketball, and I just try to translate it to NBA. Of course, it's a little harder, but you got to realize what guys do, where they're driving, how they finish, and but I feel like I got the timing, and it's also the verticality is just going straight up at the rim. It's hard to finish over me since I'm so tall, but it's definitely something that I have.
Do you feel like you approach shot blocking differently now than you did when you came into the league?
Yeah, definitely. I think my rookie year, I started to get 3 blocks a game, and I'm like, all right, I can try to impact the game in that way. And then of course, moving forward, I guarding defenders on the perimeter, and seeing their tendencies is something that I've been working on.
See what happened. It looked like you were kind of going back and forth trying to get back in. But what exactly happened, and what was the process of trying to get back?
I caught it a knee, right to the knee, lower knee. I tried to get back out there. I tried to push it, but the nerve was a little bit nervy, so I couldn't really run and do what I wanted to do where I felt comfortable enough. But I should be good to go next game. Once it settles down, we got extras, everything's okay.
So you don't feel like this is a long-term situation?
No, sir.
Got it. And we'll get to the game in a second, but just in terms of your individual scoring, obviously 4 20-point games, career high with 7 threes tonight. What's kind of working for you offensively?
Honestly, just taking what the defense gives me, and at the end of the day, not rushing anything, and not forcing anything. At the end of the day, me and Coach, we talked, and he just wants me to just be aggressive whenever I can, and also just get to the paint and make the right reads whenever I can, and shoot the open shots. And so I feel like those are some things that I can control, and also helping my teammates bring with the energy part. So whenever I come in the game, bring juice, bring energy right away, and I feel like energy is contagious.
You talked pretty early on after coming here about your connection with Billy in terms of his direct communication style. Do you feel like this offensive style and Billy just in general give you the confidence that you need and aggressiveness you need to play well offensively?
Honestly, I would say yes. Him just being straight up forward with me whenever I'm messing up or whenever I need to improve, he's just letting me know flat out. And I feel like the trust that we're building together has been amazing. But also, I respect him so much for him just being here with the team, even though he's been having a lot going on in his life. But for him to put certain things aside and him still push for it every day. So truly grateful to have him as a coach, and truly grateful to for him to teach me and also just get on me at times. So I really appreciate it.
You talk about energy a lot, that being a big part of your game. Kind of how do you walk that line of having that high energy, playing with that certain level of almost franticness at times, while also not letting that get out of control? How do you balance that?
Honestly, I would say I've been playing like that all my life.
Yeah.
So I would say nothing has changed. I've been able to channel my energy to where it's been able to help me, but also help the team to where I'm not too far away to where it's he's on his own thing, but try to bring energy for the next person next to me and just continue to communicate, but also push the next guy. I feel like it's something that like I've gotten better with over the years from my first season to now. So I feel like it's one of those things that it takes time, and once I figured it out, it's like, okay, this is how I want to channel my energy, but also channel my anger whenever I'm upset, and that's usually on the defensive end.
Is it like you're hyping yourself up, or are you trying to calm yourself down? Like, how does that manifest for you?
Honestly, I would say just both.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to talk to myself. I need to pick it up, or sometimes I need to let myself know, like, I got to be better. I got to be a better teammate. Like, don't get into your feelings because it's about the team. And sometimes you have to tell yourself that, and you have to do it in a way that is not selfish to the next guy next year. So.
You mentioned the defense. Billy has told us that he feels like you can really develop into like a lockdown defender. What do you feel like are maybe the areas of your game that are kind of that need to be improved to go from where you're at now to being that like lockdown kind of
I would
guy?
say off ball. I get caught watching sometimes, but on ball, I feel like I'm one of those people that can stop pretty much anybody. So I always take pride in that. So just continue to be in the right spots, and also communicating is a big thing when it comes to team defense, and that's something that I know I bring each and every day, is that vocal leadership, and something that it's just in me. So
Billy was just telling us post game the amount of change you guys underwent at the trade deadline. He's been very impressed with the commitment and then kind of the team chemistry. Do you feel that? You've been on some other teams. Do you feel that?
I think so. Through all the things that has happened, we haven't allowed that to affect the locker room. And at the end of the day, everyone has decided that we're going to push to the end, and we're going to run our race and continue to fight and continue to finish and do the best we can. At the end of it, we're not laying down for nobody. So whenever we go out on the court, we got to give it 110%.
Collin, Kings scored 68 points in the paint. What was making it so difficult for you guys to defend that?
I would say communication. Honestly, we didn't communicate as well as we should have, and we didn't stick to the game plan tonight. And I felt like that was something that hurt us. We know we got to get better at that, and also we have to get better at just being in the right places and communicating, and kick the guards out and get the bigs down low. Like, some of those things, and even just the fouling as well. Like we fouled a lot, and we can't allow turnovers to affect the defensive end.